Oh, she's busy.
All right, so this is the waiting slash resting room. All right, and changing room. All right, there's a bathroom in there. All right, so usually we just bring them in here after and before the procedure. Before so that they can change into the gown, and after so that they can wait for their discharge papers. And if they have to use the bathroom during the procedure, if it calls for, we bring them in here as well, real quick. But after we discharge the papers in here as well, and prescribe you anything if we haven't already prescribed you, and we get you scheduled for a follow-up. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna have you changing your gown real quick.
To the HP. Taking is gay.
All right. So I handed you your gown. While you're putting it on, I'm about to go sterilize the room and prep the room real quick, and then I'll be right back to start the procedure, okay? And take you to the operation room. All right.
Trophy EBK off. That shit crazy.
Pop shit down on their way to trophy. I'm gonna take one out the gate. I'm gonna take it all the way. Let's go here if you leave the lobby.
That's all we would be needing today. I just pretty much turn on the computers. I don't need anything else. I organized and wiped down my equipment and my tools in the patient bed. I don't really need the machines today because I've already know what I'm dressing and handling. There's no radiologist here to do any further work. So you can follow me into the operation room.
On a rose. Hey, check it out. Where you going, man? I'm trying to talk to you.
Pretty much going to start the braces procedure. All right, so I'll be doing your braces procedure as you already know. I did note that you wanted the red braces, all right? And basically those are just the rings over your braces, and we'll get to that kind of at the end. It's a couple of things I have to do before then, starting with the actual cleaning of your teeth. We don't want to put braces over dirty teeth, you know what I mean? Or they're already unaligned and we want to make them as straight as possible, but we want to make sure they're clean in the process, getting all the tartar and the plaque buildup, okay, in between your teeth. And we just want to make sure that your gum lines are as healthy as possible, so that when we put the braces over top, there's no underlying problems, okay? All right, so there was success. All right, I was able to clean all the plaque and tartar buildup using the scaler tool that I have. All right, and basically a scaler is just like the metal hook, and we go close to your gum line and in between your teeth and behind your teeth to make sure all that hard residue and plaque buildup, it becomes hard and it sticks to your teeth. All right, we want to make sure, like I said, we get all that off. All right. So it was successful. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply a fluoride mixture, which basically it relieves all the rest of that excess tartar and buildup. Even though it was a success, I want to make sure I do a thorough deep clean. Okay, so that's what the extra fluoride is, and it's going to allow basically when I put the brackets onto your teeth and center them on your teeth, it's going to allow the adhesive to stick better on your teeth, so that it doesn't move, and that they're strong and healthy. All right. so next I'm going to apply this etch gel, okay? And basically that allows, like I said, since we made it so smooth when we cleaned your teeth, we now need the brackets to stick onto your teeth when we center them, all right? And that's basically going to get applied by an adhesive. So next I got to roughen a little bit the outside of your teeth so that it can stick and it's not so smooth, okay? So I'm gonna apply this special gel, and it's called etch gel.
Boşa bırak çumasa, plaka kada saras meledo boğaz cünga bu. İki diye koleda.
Ya belki.
Da batalım ki. خودت جارا کدانه و قومی که راز راشی.
I'm here to give
So like I said, I went ahead and applied that etch gel, and then the Transbond XT primer is just another special gel. It allows it to stick, like I said. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead and apply the brackets, okay? All right, like I said, so the Transbond is basically already applied to your teeth for the polish, and it's just the adhesive to take all the moisture out, and to make sure that the brackets sit on there properly. But it seems like it didn't work for when I'm trying to apply the brackets, so I'm about to go ahead and try this BracePaste, which is a different adhesive, okay? All right, and that pretty much failed, so I'm pretty much gonna try to apply it on there carefully myself, okay? And then I'll try it again while I'm carefully trying to put them on there one by one. All right. Seems like it was a success now. Everything is now in place. I centered those brackets carefully on each tooth, which now allows me to then go ahead with my next part of the procedure in terms of, like I said, letting it pretty much dry on there as fast as possible so that I could enter those wires through those brackets. All right. So next, like I said, I'll use a blue light, which is basically just a LED light. All right, and it's a curing light, which just allows it to dry faster. All right. I have a VALO Ortho cordless LED light. It's top of the line, so it will pretty much dry it pretty much ASAP. Okay.
Why is this black officer follow me, bro? What did I do, bro? Look at this. Look what we got here. Look at shots.
All right, let's try to make it dry as fast as possible. I'm gonna start off at 420 nanometers with the wavelengths of the blue light, and that should do the job. But if it doesn't, I'll just up it. Okay, up the nanometers. Am I going to the wrong floor? So it seems like it's a failure with the nanometers. It wasn't high enough, and it didn't allow it to dry as fast as I wanted it. So I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, you have to talk.
And adjust the nanometers to 480.
Yeah, so you can hear me, because they be an asshole.
Okay.
All right, so I adjusted the nanometers to 480, and it seems like it allowed it to dry way quicker, rather than have it sit and dry improperly. Okay. This allowed it to basically just create a faster bond, and the adhesive has now hardened. All right. So next I'm gonna enter those wires, and they're basically called Archwires because they're flexible wires that go through those brackets that are now centered on your teeth. Okay. So I'm gonna use these pliers. They're Wineguard pliers, and I'm gonna enter each wire through the top and bottom racks of your teeth, through those brackets that I put on your teeth. Okay.
Bro, your level 3 don't smack like that, bro. Don't you ain't got to stunt.
All right, so next the small elastic bands will go over top of those brackets that I put on there, and that's pretty much where the coloring comes into place. I know that you wanted the red braces, and that's pretty much how you get that effect. Okay, the wires are not really the color, but the brackets, or they also are called O-rings, they are placed over the bracket, and they show individual colors, or they show the same color. In this case, you want it all red, so I'm gonna go ahead ahead and put those O-rings, those red O-rings on, okay?
Cause he a bitch.
All right, I went ahead and I applied the O-ring bands. They look good. All right. Lastly, I just need to trim any excess wire. And this is because we don't want any extra damage to your teeth. We want to make sure it's not sticking your gums when you eat, or we want to make sure that they don't break when you eat, okay? We just want to make sure everything is nice and clean and it looks aesthetically good, all right? So I trimmed the excess wire. All right, I'm gonna show you some before and after pics of before you had the braces and after, and then we're gonna try to schedule a follow-up later on, but just give me 1 second. I want to make sure that I have all these pictures in order, okay? So let's take a picture. All right.
I think when I executed the respawn command, he's so new to the game, he doesn't know.
All right, so I uploaded those pictures onto the dental porter so that you can see them later on. We have the before pictures of how you came in, and then we have the after pictures of when we put the braces on. So we're just gonna monitor the braces through week basis, and then in a couple of months you should definitely see a transition, and we should see a change in the alignment of your teeth. All right, so I'm looking forward to scheduling another appointment. Let me go ahead and show you the mirror so you can see it yourself. All right,
How did you die?
tell me what you think and how they feel. If they're too tight, I can loosen them a little bit. I thought I got them adjusted perfectly according to your teeth, but just let me know if they're uncomfortable, okay?
Okay, what you say?
Oh my lord.
Perfect. That's exactly what we want. We want you feeling comfortable.
Nigga can't even reach you,
we
bro.
want you pretty much leaving the dentist with a brand new smile. All right, we want you to just have your smile back, and that's really pretty much our motto. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and schedule you for a follow-up appointment, and then I'm also gonna prescribe you some meds just so that you're not irritable and they're not irritating you. I'm gonna recommend you also go into the pharmacy for some Orajel, but I'm gonna prescribe you some acetaminophen, and then I'm gonna prescribe you some Ibuprofen. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get you scheduled. Oops.
I gotta hide.
There we go. I recommend at least a week. So just let me know what date and time works for you so we could do a follow-up, okay? Today's the 25th. I recommend coming in by next week, the 1st. But let's try to shoot for the 4th of April. If possible. That's a Saturday, and we can try to do as early as possible, or any time pretty much after 2 to 3 p.m. Okay, so I'm gonna get you scheduled on the 4th. I'm gonna schedule you for around the same time, 3 o'clock. What time is it? Yeah, 3 or 4 o'clock. I'll schedule you for that, and just let me know if we have to postpone it a little bit based off of the time. All right, I'm gonna schedule you after this though. Let me go ahead and prescribe you these pills. I'm gonna prescribe you 200 milligrams of Ibuprofen, which is basically Advil, and then the Tylenol, the Acetaminophen. Prescribe you 500 milligrams of that. All right. And ibuprofen is pretty much for the inflammation. We don't want your gums and your teeth getting inflamed. And then the Tylenol is pretty much for the pain, and it also keeps your teeth kind of sturdy and in place with the brackets. All right. I also recommend, like I said, getting some Benzocaine, which is basically just the Orajel, and it's just a topical solution that you put over your gums and over your teeth. You just rub it with your finger over your teeth, and it kind of numbs the irritation a little bit. So you're all set. I'm gonna go ahead and get you scheduled for the 4th of April. You can follow me back to the waiting room so that I can get you these discharge papers, all right? And you could get out of that gown. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hand you these discharge papers, and I'm gonna get you scheduled at the front desk. But you can go ahead and get out of that gown when I leave, okay? Just wait like a minute in here, all right? In the waiting room. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get you all set at the front desk. You're all set to be discharged. Go ahead and you could change your gown, and you can meet me at the front desk. I'll just schedule you there, all right, for your next appointment, your follow-up.